Yeah, we've had some great location stuff, I think.
Mm-hmm. We were supposed to be in Italy or Paris or Victorian England.
I feel like we always operate on such a large scale.
Yeah.
One of the biggest challenges of bringing a film crew to a location is just the logistics of it. I mean, you're talking about moving a lot of people and equipment and vehicles into often a very crowded area. It's like moving a small army.
There's so many moving parts. Sometimes, we have 30 dancing chorus girls. Sometimes we have a room full of frat boys or Renaissance Fair patrons.
Yeah. The Renaissance Fair, wasn't that fun? That was an enormous set.
This is an incredible location. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere in this beautiful setting, and I couldn't believe it when we pulled up and they had the Ren Fair completely decked out.
They've done a huge amount of work on what I think is a relatively far-reaching episode, and that it's big, big, big.
The lovely sword vendors and food vendors and clothing, costume tents and whatnot. Yeah, we made all the pennants so that it looked as real as possible. It was great.
Without huge amount of resources, and Moolah, it looks like a huge set. It is a huge set.
Because of the setting with the kind of castle-like buildings that are on this piece of property, it really kind of took you into the place.
It was a challenge for Joanne Hansen, our costume designer, and she had to costume an entire Renaissance fair, which is no small feat.
Didn't some of those people show up with their own?
A few, not many. Not as many as she would have liked.
Yes.
It was a pretty great full episode for us. We got Death in on the horse, a 6'7" guy in his big cape.
Costumes does an incredible job every week, and often it costs a fortune to make it happen. But it's just because the designs are so extreme and sometimes so large in scale and scope. We need to bring in 10 seamstresses to make this happen, and we need to have 4 extra people on set to make sure these costumes are fitted properly. And we need to have fittings. That means we need to have an AD come in and corral 120 background people 2 days in advance and make sure they all are properly fitted on the day, so it all looks like they've been in these clothes forever.
Wait, Jinxie, hold it!
What?
Costume rentals!
No!
Come on, man, you could be a knight!
Or not. Not is also an option.
Process of designing and building is a collaborative effort that starts with the script. Our producer and actors will have some input, and that's really the genesis of everything.
Because I'm only mentioning her hands,
I see.
her hands and the gloves, because it's all about the tarot and the table and the inserts on the cards, and it's going to be obvious that it's a young girl.
Could it be half? Like,
Yeah.
so maybe they could be lace or
If it's a
I don't
lacy
know.
half thing, like somebody mashed
Then you would
award,
get away
no
with
production
that,
at Cherry
probably.
Orchard.
From there, we get fabric samples and talk about color and shape, and that's really where it starts.
I believe that this is something that they made out of a shawl and then turned it into a skirt, so it kind of looked like maybe Katerina built it herself.
I present a rack of options and we all have had conversations prior to our fitting and talk about the technical things like fit and color and that kind of thing.
They fit it to my body as soon as I got off the plane and then hand-stitched all of the piping. It's incredible work of art that they put together.
It helps people start to develop their character, and as they come in thinking about what they're doing with it and where they're going to go with their character, once they find those pieces on the rack, you can really see it start to develop in the mirror, and it's a pretty great collaboration, and it's great to see it start forming in that fitting room. I haven't done the math on the number of costumes, but I think we're at something like 66 episodes, and if you have 10 folks per episode, that's 660, and they've got maybe they've got 3 or 4 costumes each, I don't know, so we're somewhere in that 2,400 plus background plus, so it'll be something like that, I would guess. Warehouse 13 is probably the most creative series I've ever been involved in by the nature of the scripts and the stories that you can time travel, or the artifacts can take you many different places in the world or many different periods, plus contemporary. So I think that's the most rewarding part, that there's always a challenge. You never know where it's going to go, and yeah, it's pretty great from a costume standpoint.